listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower on WRES 100.7 FM in Asheville. Listen up and get tapped into local important resources, information, and topics. Okay, it's time to get tapped in.
Well, hello. And if you hear my voice, you know it's time to get tapped in. I'm looking for things to tap. I'm ZaKiya Bell Rogers.
And I'm Leonard Jones.
And Leonard and I come from you, Buncombe County Communications and Public Engagement, where the real heroes wear capes.
And yes, and today we are focusing. It's 9 months since Tropical Storm Helene has hit in our community here in Buncombe County in Western North Carolina. And so we have Dr. No from our Equity and Human Rights Office, along with her colleague Nafeesah Harrison, who's just going to share some information about mental health as we move into the hot days of summer, because it has been hot this week, and just things we can do. We know that since the storm, we continue to have kind of pop-up rainstorms showing up. We've had a mudslide on I-40 coming out of Tennessee, so we are still in recovery, and we just want to tap in and talk to the community to let them know what they can do around mental health. So welcome y'all too.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We're glad to be here.
Yes, that's so great. Nafeesah, I think this is your first time.
Yes.
Being on here. Dr. No has been with us a few times. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and speak closer to the mic?
Well, as you said, I am Nafeesah Harrison. I am in the Equity Office. I'm the Inclusive Connection and Healing Coordinator. Mm-hmm. So my primary role focuses on the opioid crisis in the BIPOC community. Mm-hmm. So I bring awareness, education, and information on various resources that the community can use and to support them through the crisis of their opioid use addiction, mm-hmm. and just let them know where they can go to get that help.
And you said healing. We all know that everyone heals different, and we like to say the grief cycle, but it's a grief process.
Yes.
Yeah, so thank you both so much for being here. Dr. No
mm-hmm.
has been with Buncombe County this is your 5th year?
Oh, I wish. 2.
No, what is it?
It is just 2.
Just 2. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I told somebody the other day, like, I thought you've been here forever. I was like, does it feel like that?
Yes, it does.
It's only been 2 years.
Okay.
Well, 2 years and about 4 months.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes. So let's talk about it. We have been post-Helene for almost 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that, like Leonard said before, we've had these very aggressive storms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about anybody else, but I know that after the most recent rainfall we had, a part of my steps, the dirt around it washed away. And it was first damaged during Helene, and it's like, now here are more things that are products of Helene.
Mm-hmm.
So there are other triggerings of trauma. So how would you tell people at month 9, what things should they be doing, what things would they may be seeing if they haven't addressed their mental health?
Yeah, great question, and very true. Month 9, we're kind of in this weird space of we're 9 months out, but we're 3 months away from a year.
Yes.
And so there's kind of this competing story or narrative of, yay, we have survived for 9 months, we are recovering, we're getting into a groove of what recovery is going to look like. But then there's this other part of you that's like, but we're 3 months out from like the year anniversary of this happening, and what feelings is that bringing up? What thoughts is coming up from that? And so you're kind of battling this dual feeling that you're trying to hold at the same time. And so that can be a stressor within itself. And so the best thing is going to be to talk about it. Like, don't hold it in, don't suppress it, don't try to busy yourself with other tasks and other things. If you're having a down day, if you're having a blah day, Blanche on Golden Girls used to say magenta. It was just like, I feel magenta. It's all these colors, and it's just blah. But you don't want to say blah because she was a Southern Belle. So she's having a magenta. If you're having a magenta day, talk to somebody. It doesn't necessarily have to be a mental health professional. Just joining in with someone else who has experienced it can listen and have an ear. Now, I will say my caution is what you want to try not to do is go down the go down the negative hole of kind of reliving it or re-traumatizing yourself by talking about maybe all the negative things, more so just how are you feeling. Because talking about your feelings is present time. That's something you can manage. Talking about the past, we can't change it. So it's different in saying, oh, today I just feel kind of solemn because I was thinking about so and so when I saw the river wash away over the weekend, or the highway wash away, kind of brought some feelings back up of fear and concern about, is it going to get better? How long is it going to take? Those types of things.
If it's going to happen again, we know that we are in hurricane season. And just because we're coming up on a year doesn't mean, okay, you've had your storm. You don't have to worry about it anymore. It's not like tag you're it and nobody else has to do it. It's that, will it happen again? And not will it happen again if it happens again or when it happens again.
How do we prepare? Like prepare in a healthy way? Because prepare also can seem as hoarding. So we had a lot of resources that was here and it was free, and you're just like, I'm gonna be ready. I got my tarps, I got my water buckets, I'm ready. But what can we do in a healthy way that you're not hoarding? Because we don't know if another storm may come in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now. But what can we do, or for the listeners that they can do this in a healthy way to prepare, but not in this, as you say, kind of going down this fear kind of path or Debbie Downer kind of path?
Right. Yeah. One thing I will say is that if you feel like it's feeling more of a fear path, a Debbie Downer path, that could be a good sign to reach out to a therapist. You can look at RHA, you can look at Via Health. You can honestly go to Google and type in therapist in Asheville, and lists of them will come up. You can get as specific as you need to. Black therapists, Spanish speaking therapists, therapists who deal with trauma. Like you can type into that URL a variety of things, and therapists will pop up that maybe can support you or support that. And so that's my first part. My second part would be to look at what your needs are and look at what you have access to. So for example, I live in an apartment on the second floor. So unless we get a lot more, it's not too realistic that my apartment will flood. First floor, yeah, we were kind of nervous for them. But so I might not look at flood things, but I might look for more things of like having the batteries, having the tarp for my vehicles, trying to move them up to a higher level. So really kind of setting a plan of, for me and my family, what are our most pressing needs, and let's work on those, and kind of getting a plan. Like, do you have a plan of, if this happens, I'm going to leave and go here. I'm going to go to this friend's house, this cousin's house, this state, this whatever. I know a lot of people, and this is something that I don't think we really talked about a lot, but I know that when the storm first hit in those few after days, there were a lot of people who were displaced. But there were a lot of people who were financially able to go other places. They hopped on a plane, they sent their families to other cities, and that's not everybody's story. And so there are some people who don't have the money to buy a plane ticket, train ticket, bus ticket to get out of here. They're here. So my suggestion would be to look at, within this area, what resources do you have? Who can you lean on? Talk, if you are a member of a church, talk to your church. What is their contingency plan? Have they bought backup generators? What are those things so that those places can become maybe quick shelters the next time this happens? We've learned a lot of lessons. Now it's kind of maybe like, let's start putting them into practice.
Very true.
And you said a lot of great things, and and I hope everyone is listening to these and taking heed to it. But the one most important thing you said was talk. And a lot of times we know in certain communities, we're not told to talk about our feelings. We're not, sometimes it's seen as being weak, or, some of us, some women of culture have been told that they have to be strong at all times. You don't show weakness. But weakness is not crying is not a weakness. It is actually a release of trauma. And so, can you talk more about culturally how folks are dealing? That you've seen in the community that people are dealing with the Helene trauma?
So I've seen a lot of people come together, and I know a few churches have had like listening sessions where they're just say, hey, come out on a certain night and we're just gonna talk and share and open up. I know that there was I think Tridestone had a It's Okay to Grieve or some kind of event like that where they had some mental health professionals come and they kind of paired people up or group people up actually into group circles and just kind of let people process and let people talk and provide support and really just that listening ear. And then if someone was triggered or needed to step up, there were professionals there to kind of meet that need and go talk to them separately. So I've seen and heard of pop-up things like that. I think more of that is needed, especially for our youth, especially for our people in the community who are already struggling, who maybe already were houseless or already dealing with addiction, or already, and this is compounding. And so that's the thing about, unfortunately, a storm like this is nobody's life was perfect before the storm. Like, we all had our own struggles and issues, some more than others. And then you put this on top of that and you're trying to recover not only what was actually physically lost, but you're also still trying to just manage and keep your head above water, and that water level has risen. And so having that safe space to talk, I think, again, going into community and just letting people talk and saying it's okay, you don't have to be strong, and then having a place for the youth to talk about what it was like, because let's be honest, when I think about it, anybody between the ages of, I'm gonna say 15 to 25, they've experienced a lot in these last 10 years, from COVID to our political climate to now hurricane. Like, they've got some stories to tell. And so anytime you have stories to tell, sometimes not telling them can lead to that detrimental to your health.
So Nafeesah, just bringing you into the conversation, you had mentioned you work around with like substance abuse and addiction. What are some of the resources? Because just as we said before the storm, you may have been in a good footing. We do know that the storm has had impacts on our community around, job security. Things are shifting with political climate. So we know it's a very kind of tightrope, especially people that's dealing with recovery. When things are good, they're good, and when things go bad. So what are some of the resources some of our community can have if they find themselves kind of teetering between trying to stay on the straight and narrow and not fall back to old habits?
Right. So you definitely want to look at, you have DHHS, your Economic Services Department, that works on your Medicaid, your food benefits, your child care, all the resources that you may need for your housing. Work First, if you're looking at for employment, career development, there you have AB Tech, and if you are a recipient of food benefits, there's the STEP program. So if you're receiving benefits, then they can connect you to STEP so that they can help you with looking for a job. Not just any job, they're gonna look at your skills, whatever skills you had, your current or previous, and they're gonna try to match you with something that'll meet your skills. And if going back to school is something that you want to do, then they can try to help you with that as well. Knowing what's close in your community. If they're job fairs, some employers do them on the spot and hire on the spot. So if you're in a tight spot and you're like, I just need to find somewhere to work, some places are interviewing on certain days. Bojangles have signs up in their window, and they're like, we're hiring on we're interviewing on Wednesdays from 10 to 4. So pop up in there if you're looking for somewhere to work. RHA, they have a peer support living room. You can just walk in and just be in a space. There's NAMI, which is National Alliance of Mental Illness. So they provide free services and support groups. If you go to Google, like Dr. No said, and just type in NAMI, and it'll pop up. There's NAMI for Western North Carolina. There is one here. So,
and we know that trauma is a gateway to substance abuse. And we know that some folks started using substances to treat their own mental health issues. And so we know that it's become a system of care lasagna for them. And so a lot of times, you know, they don't know, or they're embarrassed, or they feel like I've been there so many times and I haven't finished. And I just want to encourage people, it doesn't matter how many times you've been there. It doesn't matter how many times you feel that you have failed. If you are still walking around, you have a chance. And take the biggest chance on yourself to get the help that you need. And, you know, there are services available in our community.
For some, it's going to take more than one time to get it right. It's going to take more than one time to get it right. So, and what I do know, and what I've learned over these past couple of years, is most of the organizations that are treating substance use, when they see you come back, they're excited for you. Well, not for them. They're not excited that you're back, or for you because you may have relapsed or you're still in active use. But they're excited because this might be the time that you might get it right.
Or that they can say, you know what, you remember there is help.
Exactly.
And that you're still living. Because we know with the new substances that are out there, things are happening to them. People are putting fentanyl in them. And sometimes the outcome is not good. And so seeing you is, it's like, okay, I know you need help, but I'm so glad to see you and know that you are still around.
And for the person going through their struggle, that person to them is a breath of fresh air because you remember me. You know, oh, you're still here. I'm so glad Mr. and Miss So-and-so are still here, because they know me. They know me. They know who I am, what I need, and they know how to treat me.
Now, 2 weeks ago, Leonard and I were speaking with someone, and they were talking, it was off air, and we were talking about our children. And he was saying that before the storm, him and his kids and his wife, they all went on this big trip, and they had a great time. And after the storm, and all these months later, he said he was trying to talk to his kids about the trip, and they don't remember anything before the storm. And so we were just talking about how I know my daughter, who is 9, she's getting ready to be 10, she's been saying things like, I don't remember what that used to look like. I can't, and every day if we pass by certain places, she says, I can't believe that happened. Like in her brain, and you know, as a kid, she can't wrap around that this occurred and how it occurred, even though she actually saw where the river was over the bridge on by Target. She was actually, her and my husband went down there, and she saw the water and the things floating over the bridge, and when she tries to explain it, it's almost like she was watching a movie, but she can't, but she know what happened, but it's like a part of her can't process that it was a reality. And because it's so unimaginable. And so how do we help small kids in that manner? That's a rough one.
It is.
I know.
Wow. As I try to find my words, the one thing I can think of is just let them know that, I mean, they're okay. It's so, because it was a traumatic experience. Listen to them, support them. Whatever that support is that works for them, use that, because when I work with clients, I always told them, when I work with individuals, I always told them, I'm going to treat you as yourself. Everyone will get the same treatment, fair, authentic, but I'm not going to treat you the same as I treat the other person. So I can't say what's going to work for all kids, because
but the first thing you would say is listen.
Listen. Don't brush it off. And as you said, culturally, we do have this thing where it's not okay to talk about your pain. You don't want to talk about that. It's okay, it happened, it's over, we're good now. But the problem about not talking about our pain is that it stays right where it is. So listen, and allow them to have that moment.
And she now has developed a fear of bridges, and I thought it was me who gave that to her, but then I had to remember, because I don't like bodies of water. I don't do any of those things, but she made a comment when we were riding in Mississippi and going over a lot of bridges, and she was like, oh, I hate going over bridges now. I hate going over bridges now. And I was like, how did I pass it on to you? And she was like, no, it was when we had the hurricane. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I never even thought of that. But kids will start developing, I won't say unnatural fears, but just new fears that may seem unreasonable to someone else, but are real to them because of what they've gone through.
Yeah, and I think to Nafeesah's point, both of y'all's points, like, what do they need individually? And so really it is an individual process. And something that I haven't said and I definitely want to say is make sure that it's a judge-free zone. You know, whoever, because everybody's story is different. Everybody's experience is different. And the way our brains work, they're awesome and amazing. I could go down the science hole for that. But they are set up to protect. 100%. That goal is to protect, keep you breathing, and keep you alive. And so that protection looks different for everybody. And so in this moment, driving across that bridge for Sully is like, I don't like that right now. She might grow out of it by 15, 16. She might be like, ooh, bridge ass. We just don't know. We have to give her time. But like for myself, if you would have been like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm good. Was watching a documentary on Netflix about a twister. I love tornadoes. And it was the really bad one that happened in Joplin. I was like, oh, I can't wait to watch this. And I was like 30 minutes in, I was like, this is bringing up some stuff about the storm for me. I can't watch this right now. And I literally had to hit stop. And it was the part where they were talking about fearing of losing their lives and like, so, you know, and I was just like, this is a whole different kind of storm. But hearing that part made me think about the stories that I've heard of people who were like, yeah, my loved one was found here, or they watched their whole house float away within a minute. And I'm just like, that's not anything any person should have to see. And so holding that and making space for that is a lot. And so I really, really want to stress that it's okay if 9 months later you're just now being like, taking that deep breath or having something take your breath away. There's no time frame. There's no, you should agree between months 1 and 3, months 3 through 6, you get back to work. There's no set way to grieve this process. It's gonna hit you when you least expect it. You've got to ride the wave and make sure that you are talking to people when it hits so that you have somebody to be there with you as you're going through it.
Yeah, because it is a process. It's one of those things when I think about like, as we say, we move it into recovery. And so being from this area and looking around, and as Sully mentioned, like, I can't remember how this looked. And it's sort of like me being much older than her, realizing things come in kind of cycles and flows. And so, yeah, we can see the river is clear, a lot of trees down. But it's also a time where we can rebirth something new. So getting back out there, for myself personally, having trees fall down in my yard and still having limbs and stuff kind of come down, just giving you that opportunity to plant something new, plant some kind of, because somebody planted the tree before it got removed. So it's like, that's another way of kind of grieving and setting a path for the future. So I just leave that out as advice as well, that get out and do something. We know a lot of our landscape has changed, but we can do something that 20 years later, people will be like, I always remember this, but due to the storm, it gave you an opportunity to get out there and plant something new or plant a new tree that will be here for the next 50 years.
So we're almost out of time, but I want to give you all a chance to leave something with our audience so that they can take with them, something that you feel is very important for them to hold. And Dr. No, Nafeesah, I'll let you all decide who goes first.
I'll let Nafeesah go first. She's the first timer.
Then I shall. I would say give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to grieve, to breathe, and reset. If you don't do anything else, again, we said earlier, we hold things in, and the more you hold it in, you're like that soda bottle. You're gonna shake it up, and so give yourself permission. Know your neighbors. Know who's around you. So, because all these things are gonna help your mental wellness. So know who your neighbors are. We used to live in a time when we knew everybody from our house to the next 10 houses. know them. So that way, if there's a need, if another crisis comes up, regardless of what it is, you know who to reach out to. Do an inventory. You asked earlier about not overstocking or hoarding. Do an inventory of your home. See what's working, see what's not working. Replace it if it needs to be replaced. If you are taking medications, make sure you have enough. Are you taking them? Call your doctor. I need a refill. These things will help your mental wellness because you'll already know, I need to get AA batteries. I need to get X, Y, and Z. I need to have this. Oh, I already got that. I don't need that. So by doing those things, you're not over prepared, but you are prepared. And it'll help with, lowering some of that anxiety and when you're in a pinch.
And I'm just gonna piggyback off of that with the permission piece, because I know that we have been working to get people to be okay with not being okay. And in this situation, I kind of want to share it on the different side, is that it's also okay if you are okay. It's okay to still laugh. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to go to the movies. I think sometimes there's this expectation that when bad things happen, we gotta feel bad. And we gotta feel bad and down for a long time. And it's like, but if you don't, that's okay too. If this storm didn't affect you the way it affected your next door neighbor or your peer at church or your best friend, that's okay too. So finding that balance, and you can feel sad for somebody else, but be like, and I am personally okay, and that's okay. So I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? Am I broken? Like, nope, you're not. It's gonna hit differently for everybody. Some people have the natural ability to maybe just see the positive, to see that silver lining, and other people got to go through the storm. And so be your individual self, be true to yourself, and not necessarily get back to living life, but don't stop living life because this has happened. Like Leonard said, find a way to repurpose the pain, find a way to repurpose that broken limb or that down tree or whatever, and let it then grow into something new and refreshed.
And I would just like to piggyback on the idea of being prepared. And so again, if you're looking for more information, we had two great colleagues from the Equity and Human Rights Office. And again, Buncombe County has a new webpage, which is buncombenc.gov. And you can go there to find out more information about resources that are available to you from our Health and Human Services, as well as work that's happening in the Equity Office, elections, new website, same resources out there for you, and some more. And as we say, as we move into recovery, be a part of the recovery. One thing we learned in the immediate aftermath of the storm is that we are a community, and we got to know neighbors that we didn't know. You might have lived by them, but it gave you a chance to figure out who got what and who can get this tree out of the road. And so we encourage you to do that in our ways. BuncombeCountyNC.gov is our new webpage. Go check it out and see what resources are available to all of Buncombe County.
And with that being said, I just encourage everyone to get the past judgments of grief out of your head. Allow yourself to understand that grief is a lifelong process, that there will always be things that will trigger emotions on different things. So that is something that you will always have, but it doesn't mean that you stop living. It means that you learn different coping skills. And the first coping skill I want you to learn is being gentle with yourself. Understanding that you just went through something very terrible, and even though you may not understand why or how, that you are still here, you are here, and be gentle with yourself. Know that you are part of a large community, and there are things and people and places that you can get help. And so, and be gentle with one another, because we are one Buncombe. And as always, we want to make sure that we're supporting our community by providing the most updated information to you all, because we are one Buncombe, and you have been tapped in.
Thank you for listening to Tapped In, Buncombe County's half hour to empower, here on WRES 100.7 FM in Nashville. Stay tuned for more great episodes coming up.